Hey guys, let's discuss the next concept, arrays. What exactly an array? An array is a collection of homogeneous elements. An array is a collection of homogeneous elements. Here, homogeneous elements are nothing but similar type of elements. Homogeneous elements are nothing but similar type of elements. So, array can store similar type of elements. For example, let's say I want to store only integer elements in an array. So I'll use, if you want to store only integer elements or multiple integer elements, then the best choice is array. The best choice is array. The best choice is array. Array can store similar type of elements like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, something like that. So these are only intertype. Similar type is nothing but only the same type of elements. Okay. Let's say if I want to store the elements of float type, I'll use float array. So I'll say 10.3, 5.3f, 6.3f, okay, 3.3f, something like this. Similar type of elements. If I want to store only the characters, it's vowels, let's say A, E, I, O, U, I'll use arrays. So if you want to store similar type of elements, the best choice is to go for arrays. Okay, so what are the advantages of arrays? The only advantage we have in arrays is we can store the multiple values of same type. That's the only advantage we have. Advantage of arrays. So we can store multiple values. We can store multiple values in an array. What are the disadvantages then? What are the disadvantages then? The disadvantages are arrays are fixed in size. Okay. So once you declare the size, you can't change the size. Okay, let's say for example, I have declared my array size as array size equals to 5. Once I declare the size of my array, I can't change this size. I can't change this size. Okay. So no matter if the data is like a huge amount of data is coming, if the data is, if you are not storing the values in an array as well, let's say if you are storing only like we have the size is 5, right? So we will be 5 indexes will be created, 1 2 3 4, and 5 indexes will be created. So let's say you can utilize up to 5 indexes. If you are trying to store more than, if you are trying to store the values more on sixth index, it will throws an exception because we have declared the array size as 5, so the size will not be increased. Okay, it will not decrease as well. Let's say your size is 5 and you are storing only 3 values, 10 20 30, something like that, and the remaining 2 indexes are free. Okay, so you can't shrink the size of an array. Okay, once the array size is declared, you can't increase the size of an array or you can't decrease the size of an array. Cool. So let's see how to resolve this problem. How to resolve this problem. How to resolve this problem. So we can resolve this problem using only with the collections. Using with the collections. So collections are one of the data structure. Okay, and collections are growable in nature. Collections are growable in nature. Growable in nature. Based on the incoming flow of data, the collection size will be increasing and it will be decreasing as well. It will be increasing and it will be decreasing as well. And it is having, the collections will be having the ready-made methods support as well. Ready-made methods support as well. Ready-made methods support as well. Okay, fine. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of arrays. So now let's learn different types of array, how we can declare an array. Okay, so types of an array. So we have two types. They are single dimensional and multi-dimensional. 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 Okay, let's see the single dimensional first. Okay, so what is single dimensional? What is single dimensional? A single dimensional array is one which will be having one square bracket after the data type. Let's see. It will be having one square bracket after the. Let's see a syntax of this array. By seeing the syntax, you can identify what type of what type of array it is. Single dimensional, multi-dimensional array, any. Okay. Data type array, variable name. Okay. Variable name. So here data type represents the type of value you are going to store in an array, and array is used to specify the dimensions. This one, the array will be specifying the type of array it is, single dimensional, multi-dimensional, and variable name could be any name. Fine. Some of the examples of single dimensional array. Examples of single dimensional array. Let's say I want to store integer type values only. So I'll say in array, I'll give the variable name as numbers. Let's say I want to store only the names. Okay, I'll say string array and I'll write names as a variable name. Okay. Okay. Fine. So what we have discussed. So what is a single dimensional array? An array which will be having an array which is having only one square bracket, that is single dimensional array. So what are the different examples? Like we have seen some examples actually. So how to declare an array. So this is an example of how to declare an array. Int array, numbers, string array, names. So they are the different examples we have seen. Okay. Let's see how to initialize an array. Let's go back. Let's see how to initialize an array. Initializing an array. So an array can be initialized in two ways. One is without new operator. The other one is with new operator. One is without new. Second one is with the new operator. Okay, with the new operator. So let's say first one without new operator. Without new operator. Okay, so what is the syntax of declaring an array without using new operator? The syntax is syntax of declaring an array without new operator. Data type array variable name equals to, here in brackets we have to mention the values v1 comma v2 comma v3 comma and so on, vn semicolon. This is statement terminated. Okay, here data type, here data type represents the type of data we are going to store. Okay, so here variable name could be any name. So here variable name could be any name, but it always mention the value meaningful name. Okay, the variable name represents the data where you are going to store. Variable name represents the type of variable name represents the what is the variable name we are going to give it for our arrays. So That's one. So here, value 1, value 2, value 3, and so on. Value all represents the values we are going to store in an array. That is the one. Okay, fine. Let's see the second one. See the second one. So with new operator. Okay, before going to the second one, let's take a review what we have discussed so far. So we have discussed what is an array. An array is a collection of homogeneous elements. Homogeneous elements are nothing but similar type of elements. So similar type of elements, like we will be storing, int type elements, float type elements, character elements, string elements. Okay, we will be storing the similar type of elements. What are the advantages of array? We can store multi values or multiple values in an array. Okay, so the multiple values of same type only. We shouldn't be storing the different types. What are the disadvantages of an array? Arrays are fixed in size. Okay, so we can't increase the size of an array once we declared it. Okay, we can't decrease the size of an array once we can't increase or decrease the size of an array once we declared it. Okay, so how to overcome this problem? So we have a collections. So collections provide, like, some of the inbuilt methods actually, and collections is one of the data structure actually. So it will be like, based on the incoming flow of data, the collections will be increasing. The collections will be increasing the size of the collection, or we can say that based on the incoming flow of data, the collection will be growing, and based on the, like, when we are removing an elements from the collection, the size of the collection will be, shrinking. Okay, so here in collections we have ready-made method support. Okay, we have ready-made method support. Okay, so now what are the types of arrays we have? We have single dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. What is a single dimensional array? A single dimensional array is one which will be having a single square brackets before or after the data type. Okay, before the variable name, after the data type. Okay, the single dimensional array. How to identify a single dimensional array? So we will be having a single square bracket. Some of the examples how to declare a single dimensional array. So here we have the syntax: data type, array, variable name. An example of the declaring a single dimensional array: int array, numbers, string array, names. These are the examples. Now, how to initialize? So we have seen how to declare arrays. Now let's see how to initialize a value for arrays. So we have two ways to initialize value for arrays. One is without new operator, and second one is with new operator. Without new operator. So without new operator, so we will be having a syntax for initializing an array without new operator. That is data type, array, variable name equals to, in flower brackets we will be writing the values v1, v2, v3, and so on, vn. Here data type represents the type of data being stored in array, and variable name represents the name of the variable where we are going to store these values. Okay, here v1, v2, v3, and so on, vn represents the type of represents the value you are going to store in an array. Okay, yeah, let's see this with new operator in next lesson. Until then, thank you.